Hello everyone, I'm Brahmithra. Today we're going to be doing a revisit to the Gambler's Chest video that I did before Black Friday last year. The intent of that video was, we'd rank everything. I had some guests with me. It would be Jay, who joins me for the beta content stuff, and then Lantern's Reign admin Tennis Dude was also in that video. So the two of them will be joining me again. And the purpose of this is we're just going to go back, revisit all those things now, almost because, we're less, maybe like a month or two away from seeing Gambler's Chest and maybe even having Gambler's Chest, because I think we are going to see most of it at Gen Con. So I just decided we'd do a little revisit, go back to originally what we had said, everything before last year, before the Black Friday update. And now, after seeing the Black Friday update, after seeing digital proofs, after getting a lot more information, after seeing the current white boxes and stuff that have been coming out, getting way more information about Gambler's Chest, seeing if we still think all the things we rated, see if any of those things move around. So this is just a fun little thing. All three of us had time to do it, so I decided to revisit it. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. So thank you for joining me again with Tennis Dude and JayRicktor, both from Lantern's Reign, Tennis Dude being an admin. Jay joins me on a lot of things. But anyway, thank you for joining me once again and agreeing to go over our hype video from surprisingly almost 7 months ago. This was before Black Friday we did it.
97%, baby.
Yeah, nice. Was it that update? It might have been. What was the one right before Black Friday? Oh, no, there was a delay to Inverted Mountain was the one before Black Friday, and then we got the Cryptic Cipher. That was the update. But yeah, there's been a lot of things that have... The Black Friday update was great. Tennis, what did you think of the Black Friday update?
It was... it's fine. I've always think the KDM updates top out at fine at best. And that Black Friday update probably wasn't the best, but yeah, I'm a bit of a curmudgeon like that, so it's it'll
Jay, what did you think about the Black Friday update?
I liked it, but I mostly liked it because I'm excited for Inverted Mountain, which we're not talking about today.
That's true. I just liked it. I liked the what was those the flood level on those.
Okay, yeah, the flood
was so
level.
Amazing.
That's pretty.
Flood level was probably the best.
So amazing
design space Kingdom Death has ever had.
Well, that's what we're about to talk about. More design space. So, actually, that's fortuitous that we decided to record right now. We actually just got a pretty major update, not in the form of an actual Kickstarter update, but comments are just as good. There was just a comment made on the Kickstarter that Gambler's Chest and the backer kit should be opening for paying for shipping of the Gambler's Chest, and the Gambler's Chest should definitely be arriving for U.S. backers, I think is what it specifically said. We'll probably start first, but ships are arriving. Backer kit is opening. It's good times for Kingdom Death.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, this is it's happening.
We all knew it would happen someday. It's just a matter of when.
It did have to happen at some point, probably.
That's true.
The bun would eventually be turned into a rock.
Probably.
So, I figured it'd be a great time to revisit this. Even before this update, I figured it'd be a great time to revisit this, to look at everything, knowing more, because even though some of the white boxes have been getting pretty good, in my opinion at least, some of the white boxes have been doing pretty good stuff, like design-wise. There's a lot of more we know about Gambler's Chest now via comments on the Kickstarter and via the Black Friday update, via updates after that, seeing the digital proofs and stuff. So we will see. We'll go through what we originally went. We'll go through our original 12 rankings. There's some things we've left out completely that we didn't know existed, that we now know existed, that I would also like to talk about. A lot of stuff. But originally, we had gone and made a list for the three of us about what it was that we felt would be the most, like, the best things that we thought would be in the gambler's chest, or the most things we're most excited for, not necessarily the best things. And how we ranked them was using a point system, going from the thing you're most excited for, getting the most points, and the thing you're least excited for, getting the lowest number of points. And then we took all three of our results, tallied them together, took the averages, then made the list. And then we had those 12 things. And at the same time, I also did a poll with my channel. I did it also on Reddit, and I did it in Lantern's Reign. So those numbers didn't factor into our things, but surprisingly, they were pretty similar to what we had. So we'll start at the bottom with the thing that originally the three of us were not at all excited for, or the least excited for, and we'll work our way up. So from the original video, starting at the bottom, pretty much no one liked God Hand, or no one was excited for it. Has anybody changed their opinion on this? I have not really.
Might have gone down a peg or two, honestly.
From the bottom? I know, I think.
I don't think I had it. I don't think I had him at the bottom, but I might be wrong about that.
I had this at number 11. Unfortunately, I don't have what the two of you had, but the most points something could have gotten was 27. Or no, 36 was the most points something could have gotten. And God Hand got 7 points, meaning that it couldn't have gotten very many points. I know I gave it a 1, so that I don't know. So I must have given it a 3 and a 2, or 3 and 3 would be right. Or
I'm like,
4
I'm
and a 2.
kind of like mid on it. It's like the end, but yeah, I think endings of things are overrated anyway. And besides, this isn't the God Hand campaign. This is the Gambler campaign. God Hand just lives in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one of the few people who actually likes Goldsmoke Knight. I think he's cool. However, the issue stems from fighting the God Hand would entail, because the hand can just kill you. He can just choose to kill you.
Yeah.
How do you fight something? And that's when he's not taking you seriously. That's him like speed bagging.
Yeah, like power scaling in media, of course, is always such a slippery and silly slope to go on. But
the hand might be the single strongest being in all of Kingdom Death.
But that is the hand's thing. The hand's one of his big gimmicks is just how clearly above all of this he is, and how overtly he's just messing around. Which yeah, go ahead.
It's a real might be, because it's entirely possible that there's constellations that are stronger than him. Storm might be stronger, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, but like presentation wise, the hand. Yeah, the hand. Yeah, he's just like painted as like, yeah, I don't care. I'm
top dog, head honcho.
He's the top dog, which I don't say as a criticism. I think like the hand's characterization in his fight and stuff is really fun.
That's great. He's awesome. I actually like the hand fight. I don't think the hand being serious would be a very good fight.
Yeah, like hell, he has one AI card where he turns his back on you and he's like, yeah, give me your best shot, nerds. That's great.
He has one where he's like, stand in front of me so I can smack you, or else I'm going to kill somebody.
Yeah, which are super flavorful. They're really fun. The hand fight is such an anime cutscene battle in the best way. Yeah, but it asks so many questions when suddenly you're like, okay, this is the serious fight now. It's like, how do you do that? It's such a massive thing to try and live up to.
So you look at his instinct, which is just, I kill a survivor. And you look at respect, which is if you, quote, wound, unquote, him enough times, which is, I think, like 5 speed, 10 damage, and archives all flammable gear. Yeah. And that's just not a fun fight to build an entire AI deck around.
Yeah, so like I think it can get there, but I think it's a really hard, and it's not a design challenge that I think many would want to take.
I wouldn't trust myself with making a showdown like that.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought.
I wouldn't even choose to do that route. I just don't like the fact that it's not modular. I don't like the fact that it's probably going to be a really... The ending is probably not going to be any different than what we've already seen. It's just going to... Everyone's going to end. The settlement's going to end.
Now we know he won't have god cards.
Yeah, I just don't like the fact he's not modular at all.
That's bullshit. You can probably translate it unless it's like only Arc survivors can wound me, and even then, Arc survivors can be transplanted.
I think that's fine. It's like a finale monster. It can live in its own place, and I don't think it matters too much. It's just a final boss.
Also fair. Like, the Great Devourer can't be transplanted anywhere.
Yeah,
No.
and like that. Yeah, it's like fine. Doesn't matter that much, because it's that final boss.
Yeah, he just feels like he would belong in People of the Lantern, so... I guess I just don't like the disconjointed People of the Dream... Or People of the Dreamkeeper is just...
It is a bit of a Frankenstein's monster of a campaign, but I think it's kind of endearing.
I still have some hope that there's going to be some narrative setup for why the God Hand is a thing.
Oh, I can explain it. I in my head have what I think they're going to do, and it's going to be these Arc survivors actually managed to see Atlas and kick Atlas's ass, and the Hand needs Atlas to collect kids to make kings out of. So the Hand's like, these guys are messing with my gopher, and they're killing kings. I need to stop them.
But other campaigns can kill kings and Atlas too.
Yeah, it's probably like, more linked to...
This is the canon campaign where that happens, quote unquote.
Didn't the gambler make a gamble with somebody and lost? The gambler probably made a gamble with the Hand and lost, and then he was doing stuff for
like
the
you're
Hand.
Killing kings, you're kicking Atlas's butt. You freed the gambler, freed/killed the gambler. Yeah. I need to deal with you guys.
Yeah, that's what I think it is.
It's the gambler's campaign. The God Hand just lives in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're inexplicably linked. Either way.
He's cool, at least.
He's just a fanatic. It's just also the fact that it delayed the campaign, or delayed the Gambler's Chest multiple times. It keeps saying, God Hand needs more work, God Hand needs more work, God Hand.
Yep.
That's didn't exactly help build my anticipation for it.
Yeah.
So, with that. So no one would say went higher for them?
No.
Not really.
Yeah. All right, the next one was a very low key. The next one was high grade resources, which this one I think Tace has already confirmed is just not even really a thing anymore.
It's just perfect resources now, I think.
That's what Tace, I think, said as well.
Which is fine.
I
think it still works the same.
Yeah. I will say this has not moved for me. I would still rate this pretty low, especially after seeing how Death Inheritor Aya handled its resource.
But they just like staple it onto monster.
Well, not that. I meant like you have to get it twice to make the items. Like if high grade resource, I'm talking about more of like the randomness behind it, and then relying on a very specific card draw to get it. I'm not even talking about the trait. I'm talking about the fact that you need to get this at all to even make the gear, and then both pieces of gear are linked to that specific resource. So even if, let's say, high grade resources aren't just perfect and they're like level 3 only resources.
Well, that's how that was pitched.
Yeah, that's how it was pitched. So say it stays the same, and then say you get high grade patterns, right? Like maybe that's what Discordian is, right? Maybe Discordian, because it is a pattern. We saw on the Discord that it is a pattern. It has the pattern up in the top. So let's say you make the high grade resources feed patterns, like the Aya stuff, and then you just luck into just drawing one. Like, is it just going to be one? What if like 3 are in that deck, and then you just can't draw it? And then even if you do draw it, what if it takes 2? So,
there's like 3 cycloid scales, and no, there's one Sunshark bone in the whole of Sunstalker, and multiple things need that.
Yeah,
I think it's a fine way of gating things, personally. I understand if people disagree with that.
It's a big, like, the devil's in the details kind of thing. It really just depends on a lot of the finer details of how it's implemented and how it's tuned and all of that. Which makes it hard to kind of, think about, how is this going to be? Because, like, hey, it'll be how it is.
Yeah. So, anybody's...
Yeah, I mean...
Anything happen to change your minds? Or does it still fall to not?
It's still, I think, a fine system. I expect it to work like Monhun, where you have high grade and G grade resources. Yeah. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think it will be fine. It's not something that my opinion on it hasn't changed. So now we're at the 10 spot, 10 of 12, which was Wanderers. My opinion here, also, I still think this is perfect for Wanderers.
I think 10's a little low, honestly. I think they could be cool.
Is there any? What would you say that caused you to go more hype on them? Because we literally learned still. I remember because I watched back the video to make sure, just to collect everyone's thoughts and everything, get everything lined up, and my stance pretty much was, we continually don't learn anything more about Wanderers. It's probably a system that luck was probably done years ago, and then it just hasn't been revisited.
Frankly, well, I think it's connected to that whole character card thing we heard about recently.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll talk about those.
Yeah, exactly. So I think if that is tied to Wanderers, and like Wanderers add character cards to your deck or whatever, can turn survivors into cool guys, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, I agree. We'll talk about those, but right now we're only specifically talking about luck.
Well, no, because if they're intrinsically tied together, it's worth mentioning.
Yeah,
sure. But we know characters are tied to the character innovation, or character cards are tied to the character innovation.
Yeah, and
that's so that you'd be able to get to them without Wanderers. You'd be able to get that innovation,
depending on how it functions.
Yeah, that's true.
It could be part of the Wanderer system. Period.
It's true.
There.
Tennis, any thoughts? Think Wanderers would go higher on your list? Like I said, we still have learned nothing about them. No new things about them for 4 years.
I mean, like, Aeneas is going to be 10 out of 10, of course, but I'm not sure how I feel about the system as a whole. Mostly because, like, what is it? We have very few details.
Cool guy with a Bahillet on a stick.
Yeah.
Or gal.
It is. It's exactly what Jay said. Husbandos and waifus. And this is great. It was fine.
Waifus.
Yeah, it's slip of the tongue because of husbando. Waifu. Which is fine. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just not anything I was super excited for. Originally, I think what it was 4 or 5 years ago, when it was something that was like clearly where they started working, and like 4 or 5 years ago when we were first getting Gamblers Chess details, and that seemed like it was the newest, most cool thing, and then I was like, oh man, these are gonna be so cool. But then as we nothing, and then it's just like, oh, I guess it was just that. Next, we have King. Anybody feel less hyped on King? This would be number 9, so it's still the bottom 30%.
I've somehow deceived myself into really getting a lot more excited for the King than I thought I would be. And more than I feel like I know I should be. But I've just kind of put on a pedestal the idea of, that blind year 21 King fight, where I will finally get to find out if I'm alive or not.
Drink your own Kool-Aid.
Yeah, exactly, yes. You are completely correct. I didn't intend to. It wasn't the life I intended to live, but it is absolutely where I am now. So it has gone up.
My concern is similar to the gun end, where I just don't know how the thing's going to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The King has the benefit in that we know less about it, so it has less preconceived notions it has to fulfill than the God Hand, but
it is hungry. That's all we know.
He's hungry and he's scary.
He's hungry. Scary. That's it.
Yeah. I think at King I might have put a little bit higher. Maybe. But I think still mostly, like you guys have just said, you don't know anything about it. The only thing that I think that worries me about the most...
His gear not having affinities is quite cool because that counters the hand. His gear in general is interesting. I think it's the only gear with a story event printed on it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That we've seen.
It's called Divide Reality.
Yeah, and also it would be very in character for me to like the king, because I like the lion god. I think more than he quite deserves, because I think it does a lot of really cool and interesting stuff.
But yeah, if you get Lion God, he's really cool, because like, what is the intent here? The intent here is this is getting off topic. Never mind.
Well, yeah, the intent's to run away and not actually fight it. So it makes sense for it to be powerful. I agree. I think it's cool. Lion God. Too bad it just didn't work out that way.
Yeah, I think it has a big burden of some preconceived expectations from players. Not as much as the king, but not as much as the hand, but still some.
I think,
as well as issues of being such a late game monster. How do you properly scale that? But I think it can do some cool things.
Here's what I was thinking with that. I used to think it's a note for it because it's called a quarry, right? It'd be the thing you just hunt those now after it replaces doing the lope 3 times over and over, or level 3 lope over and over and over, right? I've actually started to think maybe you don't hunt it a lot. Like, I don't think it's gonna completely be the only thing you hunt Lantern Year 20 plus, because Poots has mentioned that like Croc is now designed to have a level 3 armor set, and Frog Dog same thing with legendary fights. So throwing a node 4 into those Lantern Years when you still have 3 Nemesis and a finale in those Lantern Years, you only have like 6 years of hunting. So when are you going to do those? Like, how are you going to make the level 3 Frog Dog stuff, level 3 Croc stuff? I'm starting to think King might only be something you fight once or twice.
That would be great. I would honestly love the world where I really have to think like, okay, late game, am I hunting the king? Am I hunting level 3 Croc, level 3 Frog Dog?
Old Frog Dog.
Yeah, I would love that. I think Kingdom Death is at its most fun when you have to really like think about what you want to hunt and really feel the opportunity cost of, but I want to hunt that. So I'm for that.
Did we get a name? Is there a legendary like high level Croc? Because last we heard Crimson Immortal armor set no longer existed.
Oh, really? Did he say that?
I can't remember.
I can't remember that.
I think, but that might have been Mandela affected.
I don't remember it, but
I don't remember it either.
My memory has never been as good as it's always been.
I guess 2 out of 3 overrules you, Jay. So I'm sorry.
Well, to be fair, it's been harder for me to parse all those comments without the bot. So
yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, so it's Kickstarter preventing scraping has made it hard. So I can't track them all. I mean, Jay could be right. I can't say for sure that hasn't been said. And Kickstarter is not easy to search at all.
Yeah, those bastards.
So I think King would have went up. So Tennyson, I think King would have gone up. Jay, would you put King up more?
He's somewhere around where I probably put him before.
I think, I have the person who introduced him, and the way the old video worked, the person who introduced him was the person who had it the highest. So you might have already put King up pretty high. I think this is the first time where the 3 of us are going to agree King might have been, we put him too low.
Probably. But then also, again, like I said before we started, he just looks like a background demon from Berserk that cuts through in 1 second and never actually attacks anything.
Oh yeah, he's just a bunch of kids.
I don't know how he's going to attack anything besides like making you scared and pee your pants, and then walking over to you and one-shotting you with an "I devour you and eat all your equipment."
Yeah, I think originally, because we all know what happened to Lantern Festival, and that was where King was supposed to be, but it wouldn't have worked. I think maybe the Kingsmen were supposed to be part of the fight, because I think in the original Kickstarter you got like 5 Kingsmen.
Yeah.
So I think the Kingsmen were probably supposed to be part of the fight, which is now clearly not even a thing, because Kingsman's not even in the... But anyway, yep. So we were all pretty low on King, and after seeing more and thinking about it more, I think we should have put him higher. Next on the list is Atlas. You think we were too harsh on Atnus?
I think we don't really have any information to go off of, but my vibe check says he's going to be great.
Not gut feeling, he's going to be too difficult.
That I can, yes. I think he's probably going to be a little bit too difficult.
Just because, like, of what we've seen and how that one card reads, he just keeps attacking over and over until his AI deck is empty. Which is ridiculous, and I hope I'm wrong.
No, that is how that card reads. But you can dodge it and stop it. So you can also.
Sure, but that just sounds like a surge check.
Yeah, well, it depends. Yeah, he's probably gonna be pretty hard because a pure run through is gonna be pretty difficult. But then if you start adding expansions and stuff, just like with Griffin, right? Griffin with his all of his linking cards, and you put them all down. But if you just Pulse Lantern him, then Griffin's completely nullified. So unless they say, oh, it can't be knocked down for any reason. But same thing with Atnus, just Pulse Lantern him down, or use Grand Weapon, Surge Grand Weapon, knocked him down, stop all that card from resolving. So there is stuff like that, but in a blind playthrough, when you have little meta knowledge, I totally agree with Jay. Atnus is probably going to be the new road bump. Butcher is usually the original road bump. I think Atnus is going to be the new like road bump that's going to end a lot of blind first time playthroughs for Gamers Chest. I think he's probably about right though, right? And I think he should have went up more.
I have good expectations, but nothing to base those expectations on because we just have so little actual knowledge about him. But I feel it.
All right. Next, above Atnus, we had Encounters. Surprisingly, middle of the road at number 6. No, 7. This one pretty high. Jay, you had this really high. You must have, because I know for sure I did not.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, probably. Well, because I like the concept more than the thing that we've been shown.
Yes, the original rules.
And I'm always coming from
rules.
the point of view of someone who plays exclusively solo and like doesn't have to worry about time whenever I play. So I'm fine with a really long hunt, personally.
Yeah.
And I understand people that aren't, because obviously everyone's situation is different. But for me, adding more cool stuff to the hunt phase is a plus.
Yes.
I don't even think length is going to be the real big problem with Encounters. I think just pacing and timing is going to be the nail in the coffin. Because unless there is some kind of more mechanics or structure to kind of help that along, it's such a narrow window for the player to randomly get into the Bone Eater fight when it'll be a good fight, not too easy and not too hard. And I think that variance is just kind of going to make the mechanic miss a lot.
I agree. I think that window is going to be...
I'm like totally falling asleep right here. So I got ahead of it. I'm sorry.
All right, Jay. But next was food. Don't you want to talk about food real quick?
We literally haven't seen anything about it, so it's still at the top of the list.
Plate, there's the plate.
There's a plate. It might be higher now.
Jay, when you saw the plate, were you more or less excited about food?
Less, frankly.
Oh, controversial.
Oh, yeah, that is. Really, that made you less excited, even though it's an innovation confirmed now, like a tree.
Yeah, but what if it's not a regular innovation tree and it's only named by collective cognition, because we know collective cognition is thematically eating different kinds of monsters.
Correct.
And a plate isn't food. A plate is used to eat food. So that's different.
I think this is actually correct. I think I had food pretty low originally. But after seeing it, I felt food was actually... Now that we saw the way it works, it's not just the satiated armor set bonus, which I still thought was pretty interesting. But now that it is like a whole tree and stuff, that's pretty promising. That means you could definitely make it easier with, Campaigns of Death and other expansions and all that stuff to add to if you know it's a tree.
All right.
So I actually think I'm up to agreeing with Jay that this should be like in top 5. All right, Jay, you're leaving us.
Yeah, sorry.
No big deal. Tennis and I will finish it out.
Sure.
All right, so Tennis. Next we had Gambler, which this was a little controversial because I remember the poll. I've got the image. You can see it too. You can see how high
Yeah.
Gambler is, right? And again, I think it's because, and I know you and I share this opinion, that I am not of the opinion that Ark survivors are the gamblers' saviors, or the Dreamkeeper's saviors. I think Ark survivors are their own thing, and then the gambler will have its own thing as well, just like the
Of course.
Watcher.
Yeah, it would be disappointing if Dreamkeepers was the only campaign without special survivors. Because Ark survivors are not exclusive to Dreamkeepers, so they could be in anything. But no, I believe in the Gambler. I think there's a lot of really cool space to explore with him, and funny enough, he kind of has the opposite problem of the hand. I think the God Hand is really constrained by we have preconceived notions of what it should be because we know the hand, right?
Correct.
But what do we know about the Gambler? Well, we know he's called the Gambler. He appears to be some kind of trickster entity. But because he'll appear to you in a hunt event and be like, "Hey, you want to roll some dice, kids?"
Correct.
And the first time you have to say yes, and you might die afterwards. But so we have that. But then we see the Gambler in Dreamkeepers, where he appears much more nurturing. He's the center of the settlement. There's all the survivors snoring peacefully in the folds of his robe. That's kind of cool. That doesn't seem like a Gambler. And there's also a really cool hunt event in the core rule set, where survivors wander upon a mural depicting what the text says is a hero hoisting a big old fruit on his shoulders, which is clearly the Gambler. Why is he being called a hero? Why is there, why do the survivors find this pictures of him? How is that going to all tie into his identity as the Gambler? It's really cool.
I agree. I think gamblers. I don't think I've changed on where he should be, judging that this is now the number 5. So he's definitely. I think he's probably gonna have some kind of like trick dice.
Yeah.
Because of the Horpulation dice that we get for Watcher, the red dice, orange dice, whatever you want to call it. The death dice, whatever that is. I think Gambler will probably give us some sort of rigged dice. I wouldn't doubt if his fight has rigged mechanics. I think it's going to be pretty fun. The other thing I've noticed, going back and looking at before doing this video, his event, the Gambler's Chest event, is Lantern Year 15. So you might be able to fight him like Lantern Year 15 or 16.
Maybe. I imagine that's going to be kind of the
gambling
foreshadowing or something. But it'll be really interesting to see. I think he has a lot of cool stuff going on. I think the Gambler's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah. I think Lantern Year 20 is it. I don't think 25 for him. I think this event's 15, and then Lantern Year 20, you have to fight him. So that means he's going to be a little probably on the lower end of the toughness scale for Lantern Year 20 and such. I think he's going to be very interesting. I'm just glad to get a new core monster for the first time. So,
yep, he'll be cool. I'm very excited for him.
Next, we had Scouts. This was based on what we had originally known of Scouts. That has since changed quite a bit. So we'll get into that after this. But Scouts, do you think you would have had them up anymore?
Maybe a little down. Just because some skepticism in how the system's going to end up working. There's a lot of fine details that matter a lot. Because now it's like the scout is with your hunting party by default,
Yes.
which is a very different kind of paradigm to what it was initially talked about. It'll be interesting. I don't know. I'm very skeptical, but it could be cool.
I think Scouts will probably. I don't think scouts are better than the top 3, right? So you feel any different about your top 3? Is there anything else that you would have put in the top 3? I mean, because you know what they are now, right?
Yeah.
The,
No, pretty much like yeah. I put scouts down. I'm not super excited. I'm too skeptical.
I think I would have moved scouts above smog singers. So we'll get to that. I think. Yeah, I don't know about now that we've seen the Discordian and stuff. I don't know how their songs are going to work, and the fact that we keep hearing less and less about them. Also, I don't know. But
I have total faith in the smog stalkers, smog singers, because okay, so the Discordian, that's a ballad. The other weapons we saw were just songs. Songs
Correct.
And ballads could just have kind of different activation costs. Maybe they're different that way.
Correct. The Discordian is really odd.
A bit. There is a lot of devil in the details over there because we have not seen a lot about them, but I like what their mechanics are. I really, really like the whole dichotomy between do you kill or do you spare them. And
that's cool. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I mean the implication with that then is that there's 2 sets of reward.
Hopefully.
Well, it has to be you need to have a reason to spare them. And if you get no reward for sparing them, you just would never do that. So I'm going off the assumption that, okay, you get a different kind of reward, which that has a lot of design opportunity to do really cool stuff.
Correct. See, I totally agree with what you were saying. That is originally the original hope that I had for Smog as well. But much like Wanderers, we still completely never hear anything about them. Whereas with like Croc, we were told that Croc will have late game armor and late game reason to hunt it late game.
Yeah.
And exactly what you just said. You have to have a reason to want to do the fight in multiple different ways, and there has never been a hint of that being why. Yeah,
and that's fair. We have not seen it, and it really only has been implied, but that implication is strong, clear enough for me that I really believe it, and I think it's going to be a pretty cool fight. I also do really love the whole thematic aspect of the survivors just being guilty about trying to attack these poor innocent-looking creatures. That's cool. That's a cool space to explore.
Correct. However, it is weird that it will be like that every single fight. Hopefully, I hope that their gear is a little less, a little way to counteract that. The guilt tokens. That's what I hope their set does.
It'll be interesting. I'm excited. They'll be cool.
Because I wouldn't think you'd still feel guilty about it if you had wiped or they'd killed your entire hunt party and made your settlement starve. I don't think, and they killed you. I don't think you'd continually feel guilty about killing them.
Well, my kind of, and this is mostly off the base interpretation. I don't think it's like guilt as in like, oh, the survivor like feels bad. I think it's like, the smog singers doing, some weird mind trickery or other kind of nonsense with the survivors. That's kind of their defense mechanism. They make your guilt manifest in as an actual physical thing. Not like, oh, I feel bad about murdering these things.
Sure.
But that's neither here nor there. We'll figure out that part, and if the smog singers are secretly sinister, which I think they are. When they go.
Yes, I don't think there's anything. It'd be the opposite. In the world of Kingdom Death, something would be secretly nice.
Yeah, it's like, oh, wait. These weren't crocodile tears? You're actually sad that I'm killing you? Oh, no, I feel so much worse now.
Yeah. So then second, we have philosophies. This, perfect. I think the number one is still everyone's number one. I know, despite it being number one for us, it was number 4 on the poll. And it wasn't the most hyped thing that everybody else had, but number 1 I think is still impossible to throw down, even though philosophies are the number 2. Would you have put philosophies higher than Croc?
Yeah.
Oh, you would have?
It's hard. I think I would do philosophies 1, Croc 2. I think the Croc's going to be real great, but I still have faith that the philosophy system is just going to be big, sweeping, cool changes to base progression.
Let me ask you this. do you think it's because I try not to do this, but for Croc, it's impossible for me not to do it because.
Yeah.
But do you think it's fair that Atlas is so highly anticipated because Kingsman is so bad? And I tried to make not Croc highly anticipated because White Lion is so bad, but I just couldn't do it.
I don't think the White Lion is bad. I think the White Lion is a very well-designed and good monster. I think it suffers a lot from being the tutorial monster.
Yes.
And it has to be a tutorial which kind of limits what it can do. It needs to teach players right from the start, so it inherently needs to be less complex.
Yes.
But I think it does that job fantastically.
I agree. I think Croc will probably stumble in being a prologue. I think it will be harder than it needs to be. But
oh, absolutely, yeah.
And I think White Lion's perfect for all the same exact reasons you just said. It is perfect for a Lantern. It's the perfect monster to start building up on. It's the perfect monster for the first couple Lantern years, and then that's the problem with it. It's just never hunted again ever for any reason, and its gear set's never built for any reason. Once you get past like Lantern Year 4.
Yeah, I think really the Croc is going to succeed by it's a little bit harder, so it'll be more to chew on for more experienced players. And I think really its gear and progression and things to craft, I think are going to be a lot better and more involved and more kind of long term, which will just make it a slam dunk.
Yes, and that's why I know that's what I'm saying. Is it fair to compare it to everything else?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it really going to be that good, or is it just the fact that all the other Node ones literally don't have an armor set? In my opinion, White Lion and Gorm, their armor sets are non-existent.
Yeah, they have problems because they're the first. They were made without design experience and without them being in the wild. So the Croc is in a hugely different weight class because it's like, hey, I get the benefit of design insight because we made things before we made me.
Yep.
But that means it's gonna be great, I think.
Yeah. So Croc and Philosophies are hard number one, hard number two. I think they're also going to be the standouts. I think they're going to be universally loved, those two things. The Philosophy System was one of those things I never thought. Like, I used to think it was going to be like a real hit or miss, right? It would make or break the Gambler's Chest, but now that we've actually seen, like, Fear is great.
Oh, yeah, Fear was that was one of the starting knowledges, right?
Yeah. That was, I don't know if it's survivalism or I don't know what it is, but...
I can't remember if this was just my best guess or if it was said, but I think it was like it's in like the starting deck of knowledge cards because last we heard about knowledge cards is that whenever like the big pool of random knowledge cards, like whenever a philosophy would tell you get a random knowledge card, is comprised of like the base knowledge cards that are in there and any others that you gain from philosophies. So I think those are like the starting ones, but but yeah, like it was like a super perfect for just a really early game kind of ability because it's not very great. It doesn't scale well, obviously, but like early on, it is an asset and it's cool.
Yeah. So after seeing it, like it's great.
Yeah, if everything else has like the quality and like thought that I saw in the design of that, it'll be great.
It'll be great. Yeah. So like, along with the books look interesting because we finally got to see one. So let's wrap this. So mainly, we seem to be pretty accurate with what we'd made 7-8 months ago.
Yeah.
Nothing seems to be, which is good, is a good thing, because we did have 6 years of knowledge of what to expect.
Yeah.
So it's good that it mostly holds up. It looks like the philosophy books. So we can start talking about some new stuff that we have now seen since Black Friday, which we've seen the digital proofs and stuff. And with those digital proofs, like we said, we saw Fear. Fear looks great. We saw some Croc cards. They look great. Even in the the Black Friday update itself, there was the the reveal of we're getting the I can't think. I'm totally blanking on her name. The weaponsmith.
Yeah.
Now I don't know. She's might be a Wanderer, she might not be, but there's some neat stuff that was in the Black Friday stuff that we got to see. Mostly or no, it wasn't in the Black, well, it was, but it wasn't. So in the Black Friday update, we saw that scouts have their own hunts, which is great. Because originally, I ranked encounters a little bit higher because I thought they were going to be the only change to the hunt system, aside from, like, scouts needing to bring stuff back.
Yep.
But we have now seen that scouts have their own hunts. It doesn't look like they have a bunch of them. It looks like there's only 10 there, but maybe there's more than just 10. But also, Ark survivors also have their own hunt events.
It's interesting.
Yes, that is super interesting. We also saw the pattern system has intro events and everything. Pattern system, we have now seen from white boxes after we last did that video, the pattern system has totally evolved to like the seed thing. There's like recipe cards, and then there's pattern cards, recipe cards.
Yeah. We also still don't, I think, know what seed means, but that's part of the excitement, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some interesting stuff.
With
the razor sharp die.
What is that? Yeah. I don't know what that is. I can't even parse what that is. I thought about it. I thought maybe that was going to be the D6 life counters. Maybe it still is. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on what you think it is?
It's interesting because it looks kind of like nonsense, but that is just evocative.
Yeah. I know there was supposed... It's hard to parse the encounters because we haven't seen them. We do know now that the whole, 3 different mini deck thing, the deck holder and all that, that's probably been refined some because we no longer have that in the Gambler's Chest itself. Since we saw the actual, the proofs of it and we saw the actual finished stuff. But how encounters actually work, the card we saw, it reads a little bit differently. They have the toned special, special.
Yeah, I think they always have that.
Yeah, but the way it works now is a little bit different. You don't have to track it with tokens. So I think a lot of that stuff's been refined, which is great. Might be less cumbersome to set up because that was one of the things I didn't really like about the encounter. I thought when we originally did the video, I was still going on the fact there's going to be multiple decks, multiple setup, this whole sideboard thing.
Yeah,
I think it might be.
I never really was concerned about the quote unquote fiddliness of it because you only have a few per campaign, but I get that feeling.
Then we have what was the Ark Survivor Hunt events. These are super interesting. What are your thoughts on those?
I imagine it will be. I hope it's more kind of some thematic exploration of some more specific narrative things going on with them. Because I don't think there was a bunch of them.
I think there's only 10.
They don't have a bunch of room to do stuff. Yeah, so you can only do so much in 10 events. It'll actually be kind of interesting to see what they use that space for. But yeah, that'll be cool. Give some more definition and some kind of flavor to them. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they will be used for, or how they're even put out. Because if they're anything like mining, maybe you only put one out at a time. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're just basic hunt events that are randomly shuffled in. Who knows? Yeah. But it will be interesting. The other thing we saw was we finally saw some gear. Well, we've seen other gear from Croc, but we saw the whole Croc location, which is interesting because it has a ton of stuff.
Yeah, it has a million different weapons. It has a scythe. It has cool stuff.
And it looks like there's 2 locations. I don't know, but it looks like it. The other one could be...
Yes.
It could be Smog, could be something else, but it looks like it's 2 locations.
Yeah, I'm really hoping it's like a Gorm kind of thing where there's the 2 different locations.
Yes, or the high grade, or the higher tier.
Or high grade thing.
Yes, the higher tier.
There's more gear, more better.
Yes, that would be great. There's been a lot of stuff that we've seen. The other things are, well, this one's a little bit harder to parse, but we did get to see the way that there's still fighting arts in the Gambler's Chest. And
Yes.
interestingly enough, there are fighting arts specifically for the Gambler, which I would think is odd because the Gamblers, as said, the Gambler's always going to use Arc Survivors, and Arc Survivors don't have access to fighting arts. Or
We did hear some things about how there are specific interactions they have with fighting arts, especially since they have to exist with old content that involves fighting arts, etc., etc. So that will be interesting, though. I'm very curious to see how all those moving parts kind of come together.
Yeah, especially since, like I said, since Gambler has a fighting art, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that's interesting with these fighting arts is you can see, well, one, they have the expansions on them, right? So the Gambler's Chest is an expansion, but they have the expansion logo, but they no longer have that like little flag on them or whatever. But the thing that's interesting about it up in the top for the secret fighting arts or for these regular fighting arts is it seems to be that they have like a second, hold on, I gotta scroll down to specifically the Gambler one. Oh yeah, so you can see where it says like secret fighting art, Gambler. So maybe there's finally some way of filtering the fighting art deck. Maybe there's timed adding to it. Maybe this like...
Yeah.
I know secret fighting arts aren't something that you can't get them randomly anyway, but it's just an example of this saying secret fighting art, Gambler. So...
Yeah. Something like that was inevitable because, I mean...
Yeah, because you can't just add everything.
Yeah, if you include every fighting art, even now, deck starts to get kind of big. So at some point there needs to be a way of okay, hey, here's how the game suggests, hey, cut this down a little bit or just include these things.
Yeah, so that was interesting to see. That's great. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't think we would see. For one, I didn't know. I mean, like I said, the Arc Survivor Hunter Fence. There's a lot of stuff we still don't know how it will work with the collective cognition, but that's still interesting. We saw stuff, we have no idea how it works. The other interesting thing that we saw since the last time we did this more so relates to scouts, and now we have seen the logistics of death. Where is that one? That was in the Black Friday update. We can't read it.
Yeah.
But you can...
Yeah, we can't read, but we see the event. That's like a logistics of death.
Yeah, but you can see that it says if you win or if you lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, survivors are victorious, defeat. Which is interesting. It still looks like maybe you won't be able to bring stuff back with you. Which would be interesting. Because if that sticks around, that is a huge change.
I don't know. We'll see about that one. I'm skeptical.
Because, there's definitely a defeat condition.
Yeah.
The tokens we saw look interesting. We do know one of them looks like it's a scout token. We saw there's new the tokens for Torment and S Pressure, which are very interesting.
Yeah.
All kinds of new stuff.
I'm ready for it. Let's go.
Oh, Lantern Festival returning.
That's cheeky, kind of fun.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's definitely we don't know because maybe the timeline that we saw a long time ago might not be correct. Maybe it still is, but if it is correct, this Lantern Festival is not the King intro. The awaited one was the King intro.
Yeah, that's the King intro. So this is unrelated.
This is unrelated, which is super cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's funny.
I don't know what it will do. What else do I have on my notes here? All right, so with all this new stuff we've actually seen now, more knowing how the system works, pattern systems, the philosophy system looks like it's probably going to be really good. What would you say your now most anticipated thing is? Is it still Croc? Is it still philosophies?
I think probably philosophies. Just there's a lot of cool stuff there. There's more crab spider lore. It seems like there's a lot of cool stuff there, and I think the kind of default age progression with survivors and like fighting arts and stuff is kind of bare bones. Like it works for what it does. It's not terrible, but I think replacing that with something that is way more involved and has elements of actual settlement management and building does have the opportunity to just really, really make parts of the game a lot more fun.
Yes, I agree. Now that we saw that he kind of like he scope crept back because the philosophies were like 21, now they're only down to 15. So it probably means they're a lot more tighter, cutting stuff rather than making bad versions of things. I'm all for that.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean the number doesn't. The number's kind of irrelevant anyway. We didn't even know what 5 of those different ones were, so
Sure,
it doesn't matter too much.
No, yeah, I agree. I just like to see the fact that it's hinting towards maybe they're going to be very refined.
Yeah,
more tight
we'll
knit.
see.
The ones we have that are still there are good. We've seen the ones that are good, like the Marrowism, the ones that really like the ones you wanted to see, the Regalism, Marrowism, murder, homicide. What does that one say? Homicidalism.
Homicidalism.
Yeah, some of them are weird. The Champion is still there, which is the Dragon King one. Maybe it's not exactly Dragon King specific anymore, but the core ones are there. Facism, which which one's the Kingsman? No, Regalism is the Kingsman. Yeah. Romanticism.
Regalism might be No, that's Impermianism. I misread.
Yeah, it's Impermianism.
It's not Imperialism.
Regalism is the very one at the top right.
Okay, on that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's Deadism.
Yeah, but these are great. The most important ones still made the cut. So Regalism is the one I was really hoping for. Homicidalism, again, really hoping for that one because that one involves murder, which is something that needs to change a little bit. Regalism, good. Where's the other one? Marrowism, that one again involves murder because it's got the bone marrow. Romanticism, which is good because that's the one that triggers off of philosophy. No, whatever the Lantern Year 12 one is. What's the Lantern Year 12 one? Not philosophy. What is it?
Yeah. Society.
Society principle. So that's Romanticism. What's the other one? Would be. Well, I guess there's no barbarian. Maybe it's something different.
That's interesting. I don't know. Yeah, it's a good list. It's cool.
Yeah, Gourmandism, that's the cooking one.
I'm really excited for Champion. It's the only non-ism. You know it has to be cool.
Is it the only non-ism?
It's the only non-ism.
Oh yeah, it is the only non-ism. Huh.
So which that is the kind of mechanical storytelling I adore in Kingdom Death.
Yeah, that's the Dragon King one, supposedly.
Yeah. Because that's just classic. Hey, how do we draw some attention to how championism is so cool.
Yeah.
And then they're in the smoky back rooms of Pooch's game laboratories. They just like cross off the ism of championism.
Yeah, and lowercase it.
And yeah, everyone cheers because yes, they've done it.
Yeah.
And they have because it's cool because it's the one I think about a lot.
Yeah. That was really cool. If it really is still tied to the game or the Dragon King 2, that's also really cool.
But yeah,
we have I agree with you actually that philosophies are probably the thing that I'm most excited for now. Originally, I wasn't because I didn't know how they'd turn out, but now after seeing Fear, as we've already talked about, and seeing that they've made the cut, yes, I agree that what I originally thought might make or break it looks like it's going to be well worth the 2-year investment. Isn't that what it was? They scrapped everything to redo it.
I'm going to assume that was a joke when he said, "Oh, I rolled the dice, and the dice said I make these into booklets now instead." I'm going to assume that was a bit. But yes,
we'll hope that was.
But yeah, I think I have faith. I think it's going to be pretty cool, and have a lot of kind of things to really mull over for a long time of playing the game.
Would you say this is the biggest meta shift coming with this expansion? You think this will be the thing that everyone agrees is that can't play without? A whole meta revolves around this.
It's a hard question. Maybe. Yeah. Well, yeah, because it's so pervasive, right? Because it's just how each of your survivors progress all the time. It just trickles down into every part of playing the game, so it probably will be really big.
I think for me, I think the one that's going to be Scouts. I don't think anybody will ever not play with them.
That's good. That's fair. That's fair.
I think there
That'll
might be
make fundamental change.
Yeah, I think there might be a world where people play without the philosophies just because they enjoy the absolute absurdity you can get from fighting cards.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think, however, philosophies will be the biggest home run that they hit with Gambler's Chest. By far, I think it will be universally liked. I don't know if it will shift the meta. Like I said, I think Scouts will. But that doesn't look like, and I hope, I just hope that one of these philosophies isn't Goblin.
Yeah, Goblinism. Yeah, we'll see.
Not specifically Goblinism.
But like being
yes,
like that.
Yes. The ha, you shouldn't have opened this book. Get wrecked.
We'll definitely see.
That's my only fear, but the other interesting thing is just the fact that collective cognition has a lot riding on it too.
That's true.
We haven't heard anything about it, but as pitched, I think that might also be one of the best things about Kingdom Death, because currently Kingdom Death, I think, suffers from the path of least resistance,
right?
Where everyone is going to just say, replace Kingsman with Slenderman because that's no fun, or just block the hand because the fight's boring. Just hunt antelopes because you get 10 times the resources. At least with collective cognition, you'll need those points and you'll need variety of hunting. That's my biggest question still, is if that will actually succeed.
Yeah, I hope it'll kind of give some good positive nudges to, some good, nice diversification of what you hunt and some stuff like that. I think it'll probably be fine.
Yeah, I think it's huge on it, especially for things with like the King, because the King probably won't have a level 1 or 2. I would hope it's level 3+.
Yeah, so we'll have collective cognition there. That could be pretty cool.
Yeah, because then you'll want to get those 4 points, especially since there seems to be a cap on the number. Or not a cap, thresholds need to be crossed, and you need to get those points from somewhere.
Yep.
So, as long as that encourages you to do other quarries and stuff, that'll be awesome. I think collective cognition is something that will definitely also maybe shift the meta forever going forward.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool. I hope it will be.
I hope so as well. So, with that said, I think you have a huge job ahead of you as admin of Lantern's Reign. I think what do we have, 4 weeks, 5 weeks till Gen Con?
Yeah, that's going to be the time after when the chest finally comes. It's like, okay, play through everything, inoculate myself to spoilers.
Well, I didn't even mean that. I just meant at Gen Con themselves, there'll be a deluge of information. It's gonna
be wild. That's gonna be a great time, especially because that is also gonna be the first time I am going to be at Gen Con, which I am so freaking excited about.
All right. Yes, I will also be at Gen Con. It should be interesting, to say the least. Definitely. Hopefully things go well. Hopefully we get a Croc prologue. I'm thinking it's prologue. You think it's prologue?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It has to be.
Yeah, I saw some people entertain that maybe it's like Frog Dog, where it's a vignette and you get some gear and stuff. I don't think so. I think it's too close to the release. They don't want to spoil it. I think it will just be the prologue. I think it will be a bad situation, like all the other ones where you start with multiple bleed tokens or whatever to keep the demo short. But I don't think you'll see gear. I think it will be a prologue.
Yeah, I think it'll probably like prologue or like a year 1 or year 2 hunt.
Yeah,
Or maybe something weird.
maybe we'll see some gear and stuff. I think there might be another demo. You think there'll be another demo?
I don't think so. I think this
so.
close to releasing everything, they're like, okay, keep most things on the chest.
I thought maybe we'd see the Black Knight again.
That's my good feeling. I think it'll just be Croc.
That'd be great. That'd make things easier.
Yeah.
I don't have to record multiple fights. Just get the one out of the way and be done. Maybe there'll be other things, but that would be amazing. There should be huge times. This is the best time in a while where everyone gets to feel alive. The community is going to be jolted back to life come Gen Con, Gambler's Chest arriving. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
So thank you so much for joining me, Tennis, and Jay, who went to sleep. Because time zones make fools of us all.
They do. Thanks for having me. It's always fun to kind of talk.
Yeah, it's always fun.
KDM stuff.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll do this again after we've both died to our 21 kings.
Yeah, in like 6 or 7 weeks from now when the chest has come.
Yeah,
and we're all very happy.
Yeah, I know you. Both of us, right? We're racing to stream it. I'm trying. I have my stream almost set up. My rigs.
I'm just gonna cobble together the minimum I need. Just stream the one king fight, and it's gonna be great.
All right. So thank you for joining me, Tennis. I look forward to speaking with you in the future.
Absolutely. Adios, bro. Take care.